Hello, it's been a while, but I'm here now to tell you some of the things you might have forgotten. And if you also have some things to tell me in the comments. I will read every of them. I mean, we can help ourselves. Why not? Yeah, the year just began. Or better still, the year didn't just begin. It's already 12 days older. And what do you do? Some of the things I think you should be doing in 2025. You've been doing one thing, certain things over and over repeatedly, the same way, and you're expecting a different result in this 2025. It's not realistic. What can you do? Change approach. Some of the things you did in 2024 also, that if you do them this year will not yield results, are things like gossip. Yeah, gossips. You know, they say little minds discuss people. Greater minds or great minds discuss ideas. The time you're using to bash one celebrity, one neighbor, one friend, one man of God or God of men, you can be productive with it. Except if you are copying from them or you are taking clues that are giving them good results from them. Otherwise, don't waste your time this year on discussing people. The second thing I thought I should bring to your notice is procrastination. Procrastination. Shifting things. Things you're supposed to do now, you say later. There is no better time. Just start doing it right away. And you know one thing, procrastination is that kind of subtle depriver. Is there a word like that? A character that is so subtle and would deprive you of a lot of achievements before you know it. January is over before you know it. February is over before you know it. It's another December. You didn't start that business. You didn't enroll in that academic program. You did not take those activities to improve yourself, improve your family, improve your children, improve whatever you hold dear. You might need to kill procrastination. When you wake up in the morning, quickly head to the bathroom and have a shower. Dress up, even if you're not going anywhere. It has a way of putting everything in perspective. It has a way of putting you on the go to achieve those things you would like to achieve. So instead of being in your 90s, your night clothes from morning till 12 noon, tying that wrapper across your chest all over the streets and hoping that you have time to do that thing, do it now. Get on it, get it done. Yeah, and before you know it, you will see that you got to somewhere alongside the year. You know, sometimes when I want to achieve something, I peg it with an event. You must have seen me in other channels talking about politics. Yeah. One thing that is passionate in my heart is my country, Nigeria. And if my role will be to contribute my little, I'll gladly do that. So I tell myself that, you see this Tinubu administration, I'm going to start something that will span into those years so that by the time it's done, I'm done with whatever I pegged with it. You know, we were there when one government came in. It could be, I don't know which government yours is, but for me, I've discovered that successively we watch governments come and governments go. And if you're not careful, they would have wasted 4 to 5 to 6 to 10 years of your life without you achieving anything. So by the time they assume office, assume your own office in whatever endeavor you want to get into. Yeah, that's a clue. It might not be a government. It might be an event. Tie an achievement you want to get to something such that by the time that thing is over, you would have run along and become something. You were relying so much on giveaways. Is that number 3? I don't know. Add your own numbers. So much on help, giveaway, urgent 2K, beggy. I'm not saying that we're all well to do or we're all good to go. I'm not rich either. I need help in sometimes. I'm also not saying that we don't have the less privileged in our midst. We do. But I see a trend that I don't know if you're actually part of. when people feel that others are obliged to run their lives. You cannot be planning in someone else's pockets. You cannot. And if the people you are planning in their pockets do exactly the same thing, who is going to be giving the other? You cannot be planning in someone's pocket. At least that is not faith. Faith is taking a step, is doing something and believing that having exhausted all the options, it will work. How can you set out and believe that someone is entitled, or you are entitled to receive help from someone, or someone is obliged to give you anything? Actually, most of the people that are going to be listening to me are Nigerians, and the situation of things in the country is not good. And then there is a trend. People are trying to help, do giveaways, people are trying to do palliatives, people are trying to do some things that our people are beginning to see it as an entitlement, as the way of life. It is not. And if you're blaming your parents, you're blaming your friends, you're blaming anybody to not have supported your life or run you in a certain way, someone else is going to blame you tomorrow. So in your productive years and time, what are you doing for the next person that will still come and accuse you of not setting the grounds running for them, of not running their lives or making it easy for things to go on in their lives? You see, there's no way out there. It's not sustainable. Actually, God can touch people to help you, but if it happens, it means that it's God touching their hearts and not you disrespecting yourself. Yes. Somehow, by the time you are posing for urgent 2Ks, you are kind of demeaning and disrespecting yourself. So also, you have to build yourself to that point where you will be the one the next person is relying on for help. Yes, this year we are going to be all productive, helping each other. Now, I'm going to throw stones and offend some people. You didn't dress well. I mean it. You heard me. Those I'm talking to and about know themselves. You did not dress well. Everything was too revealing. You showed your breasts, whether you taped it to push it up and pack it out. In the name of trends, you showed your navel, you showed your laps, you showed your boobs, your bum. Maybe in the name of flaunt it, you've got it, BBL, whatever, and you almost showed us your intestine. But thank God there's a skin over it, because if it was possible for you to cut it open, we may have seen. I'm not asking you to dress like myself. I don't even know how to dress. Sometimes people call me Mommy Gio because of my dressing. Whatever you choose, I want to remind you that how you dress will determine the people you will attract. No wonder you complain that the people that come to you are Yahoo boys, are junkies, are not the Odogus. Odogus know themselves. It's not the ones that claim to be Odogus. Odogus don't make noise. As a lady. And as a guy, no wonder you feel the people that you also attracted are those of low virtue, because you have something mutual going on. But I want to encourage you this year that if you want to change your circle of friends, if you want to begin to attract people of importance, and if you want to even begin to feel something within you waking up the greatness in you, start working on how you appear. Decency is key to success, or one of the keys to success. You have to be decent. And if you also feel that dressing like Mommy Gio or appearing like Mommy Gio is the best, do it with a little bit of style, elegance. You know something? You don't have to throw away those clothes that you used in 2024. You don't have to start buying new stuff, but you can just begin to embellish, augment, and touch up those clothes. What about turning a spaghetti or wearing a spaghetti or a spag as a pinafore. I don't know if I have the right names for those clothing, but you know those ones that are very slim in the hands, then you wear something inside. Maybe consider using a camisole for an open-breasted cloth. Consider using a leggings on a blouse, a gown top. Those gowns that look like blouses that are short, that when you wear it, you can't even sit down. And we're looking at the torsos and you are struggling. Maybe if you use a leggings on it, it's going to be a little easier for you to manage and maybe boost your confidence. So you can actually begin to modify those clothing to make them classy. Don't throw them away because you don't have to waste resources. That will be because some opportunities might pass you when somebody feels that, no, not this person. And you say, what are you talking about? Does opening my cloth mean that I don't mean well? You see what's inside? It fits the outside. Out of the abundance of the heart, everybody acts. And you know, sometimes people are not going to tell you exactly what they think because they want to leave you in your own ways. But when you will know exactly what they think is when important issues come up and they don't put you in the forefront. They choose people who they feel are befitting for the responsibility. And everything boils down to perception, how they perceive you. You can mean well, but you don't act it. You don't look it. So they form their impressions of you. So before you start telling me it's not about what you wear, it's not about, think about what I just said. Thank you. Let me tell you about undue comparisons. You set your standards according to Facebook. Not Facebook. Facebook is an organization. It's the people on Facebook. Okay. According to what you see on Facebook, what you see on YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok, and all the likes. Just ask yourself whether it's realistic. Let me tell you what you don't know. By doing that, you made your life more miserable. Because you're thinking that how it exactly appears there is how it pans out really in life. There might be, to some extent, what you see, but it's all entertainment sometimes. Because an entertainer wants you to see certain things and feel in certain ways. And that applies to every other person who comes on social media. They have a motive, something they want to achieve. The question is if that is what you set out to achieve. And if you're making yourself more miserable. Sideboard, blessing, see you. Yole Doche. Put your own idol. Those idols you created in your heart that you are copying or wanting to be like, either as a Gen Z or as whoever, I don't know. The idols you created in your heart that is killing you and taking you further away from realistic expectations. You might need to reconsider this year. Entertainment focuses on getting you high without dopamine. So after getting high watching those things, head to work and make your own reality. Those hours you spend gumming wigs on your head. I'm not saying don't wear wig, but today you will choose your options. Those hours you spent gumming wigs on your hair. Hours you spent coating your face. Hours you spent tying yourself just to appear like the idols you created in your heart by the things you watch on the media can be very useful in doing some things this year. You almost forgot that you don't have to change clothing like you saw your idols do. Let me give you a disclaimer. If you see me repeating clothes this year, don't crucify me, and I don't even care. Because I use what I have. After all, I wash those clothes. So this year you can see me making videos in the same apparel over and over. I'm just trying to make you feel and realize if you're doing the same thing. Check if you are trying to match up with expectations set on the media. Yes, in 2024, you did not invest in yourself. Yeah, you did not invest in yourself. You were carried away by just sleeping, eating, waking up and seeing the next day, or maybe running the life of a child, a husband, a staff, an employee, and forgot totally about yourself. How many books did you read? How many journeys did you make? How many recreational activities did you undertake? You know, recreation is not a luxury, and traveling doesn't necessarily mean jackbarring or moving abroad. Some of you don't know that even where you are, in your state, in your locality, in your town, a lot is happening. You can't even tell. Outsiders and visitors have a full grip of what's happening around you than you do, simply because you don't travel. Take a trip this year. That is why they say that a traveler is usually wiser than an aged person. You know, we grew up feeling that with aging, you get more brain and more sense. But we've come to realize that somebody can be wise in his little space, but until you start traveling and meeting people, your conclusions will be based on the little knowledge you have and the environment around you. But when you test other possibilities in traveling and meeting people, your perception, your views in life, they change significantly. You have a better understanding. So, onye ije ka onye isi awọ ama ihe. Onye ije ka onye isi awọ ama ife. I just spoke Igbo. That reminds me, I have a new channel where we learn to speak Igbo language. Igbo language is one of the best African languages you can meet. So, if you have children, even you as an adult, as an aunt, as a young adult, teenager, and you are not proud of your Igbo language, we have a new channel. We started from the scratch. And in that our channel, our mission this new year is to help you speak Igbo language effortlessly. That's if you're from that part of the world, if you're from that part of the world, or you're also a Nigerian who wants to diversify, or even an African, or even a linguist who is interested in many languages, because you never can tell. Still talking about investing in yourself and personal development. Health, they say, is wealth. What did you do about your health? Do you exercise? You did not exercise. What's your food like? Did you visit a dentist? Do you know that your confidence can be boosted by the arrangement and color of your teeth? And in the world we live in now, there are many possibilities. Your teeth can get whiter, you can wash it. I'm considering doing that. But it's not necessary until there is need for it. For now, I think I can still manage. If you have teeth that are scattered all over the place, I know it's not your making. That's how God made you. But God has given us the ability to engineer our lives. Do you know that those teeth can be rearranged? Do you know that those things can be cleaned up? Do you know that there are many possibilities in healthcare that can give you the results you are looking for? Not every result that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about BBL. I'm not talking about nose jobs. I'm not talking about silicone breasts. I'm not talking about any of those body alterations that will endanger your life. I'm talking about enhancing something that is useful. That will be enhancements that are useful. Somebody will ask me what usefulness is. Go and ask those people. They are not happy. They are battling with a lot of things. So define your own usefulness. This my video is getting longer, but I think I will have to still tell you some of the things I feel you didn't do well in 2020. What's your food like? You know, when it comes to food, I'm very skeptical because some people never chop belly food. They tell them to avoid some foods. Some advice on food are actually better for some people in the West, global West, and not some people in Africa. Of course, you have to do everything in moderation. Yes, like I said, I'm very skeptical about giving advices on weight loss, on dieting, but I don't like making categorical statements and telling you what not to eat and what to eat. And why I cannot make categorical statements is because of our individual circumstances. Some of the advices you get are straitjacket advices that may not apply to your particular situation. Because in healthcare, before we start giving you advice and interventions, a lot of things are compared. A lot of things are checked against some other. So I'm not going to come here to tell you do this, do that. But there's something I'm going to drop for you now. Moderation. Do everything in moderation. Weigh them against how you feel. Weigh them against what you like and what you want. I'm a plus size, and proudly so. That doesn't mean I'm not keeping fit. Keeping fit is different from watching your weight, losing weight, or staying slay, like some people will say. You can be plus size and fit. You can be slender and fit. You can be any shape and fit. That's why I say weigh it against certain things. How you feel, the results you're getting. If you start as a plus weight somebody moving up the stairs in your house and you cannot, then it tells you that you have to do something. Let me recommend one of the things you can do. This is January. A lot of organizations are going into fasting. When I talk about fasting, some people are going to jump up. Hey, this is religious organization people. Even if you don't want to fast and pray, because some of them say they've declared fast for their countries for different purposes. And the sentiments we attach to the beginning of the years. Let me tell you, anything you didn't do in the middle, the last of the year, the beginning of the year, you will still not do it, except you decide to do those things. And then, but even if you don't want to pray or join in the fast for whatever reason they've declared it, let me give you a clue. Join for your own health. Intermittent fastings. Sometimes just pretend and join from 6 to like 1 p.m. And when it's that time, take a lot of water and start with fruits. I'm giving advice again that I don't want to give. But it can help you, because sometimes when you get used to intermittent fasting, what it does is that you forget that you've not eaten. In most cases, it becomes part of you. You will start feeling light and feeling better. So by the time the 100 days fast is over, you would have gotten accustomed to intermittent fasting if you find it difficult to run away from food. Let's begin to break tables now. In 2024, you nurtured hate. Am I lying? That is true. You nurtured hate. Nurture ideas, not hate. You hated someone. You got jealous of them. You didn't like that they are getting accolades, likes. You didn't like that they are flourishing. You didn't like that one thing or the other. Make other people envy you too. But don't nurture hate in your heart. Whatever you think someone has done to make you hate them or get angry is outside your body. It's understandable that those feelings naturally come up, and they are very bad or worse when they come from people that say I love you, or the ones you say you love, especially when it's a marriage partner. Give it days, they will go away. Don't force them to stay. Do you know that emotions are like, especially the love emotion, is like flowers. They blossom. Brighter, stronger, dimmer, weaker. Always leave sparks in seeds. Meaning that they will always revamp. They will always come up. They will always be alive. Don't force your own to a permanent death by forcing yourself to continue hating. And by the time you hate, you hurt. You stay down. Something makes you keep hurting. And one thing about people that hate so much is that they reinforce the feeling. Like when it's fizzling out, they force their minds to remember things that will make it stay. You're going to drop that this year. It's getting late if you haven't already done that. The year is old enough to have dropped that. Don't make rash decisions. It's okay to lock up, because it's just natural when you get angry and when a lover or something you like annoys you, or someone annoys you. It's okay to lock up. But in those moments, make sure that what you're nurturing within are more fruitful ways to overcome the cause of the hate or the misunderstanding. I didn't say stop them, don't get me wrong, because I know human beings will not change. Human beings will not change. It's going to happen again and again. I only said, let what you're thinking be ways to overcome the cause of that offense. Like shock absorbers, put measures in place such that when it comes up again, you'll be flying and it will stay behind. Build walls to protect yourself from the cause of the hate. And don't burn bridges, cutting off the people totally, except there are things that will cost you your life. You almost forgot your source. Someone will say, what's she talking about? Yes, God is your source. You almost moved away from God. You know, these days the world is having a lot of unanswered questions, and that is simply because it's trying so hard to cut people away from their source. And if you're doubting that God is your source or that you have a source, ask yourself, if you die, if they're going to treat you the way they treat other animals. Yes, biology told us that we are animals, but at least it was magnanimous enough to say we are higher animals. That higher, what does it mean? It means that we have 3 parts of us: the flesh, the soul, and your spirit. The spirit, which is your heart. Your soul, it goes back to God. That is why most of the questions on earth are not being answered. Even when there is science and a lot of solutions available to man, there is still a longing that is not filled. That is because they are trying to make it feel like we just appeared. The Big Bang, blah, and men appeared. But I want to believe that there is an unseen hand that is controlling everything happening in existence. At least that should be logical, even if you don't believe. Which organization functions without people sitting on the drawing board to say it has to be like this, it has to be like this? That is how they want us to believe that the world just happens without any powers running it. Don't be too naive. I'm not preaching to you. Decide how, but make sure you connect to your source. Joy comes from it. At least sometimes when you have questions and things you cannot discuss with your lover, your family, you run back to that secret being and cry to him and stay with him. Whether it is an illusion or reality, at least that hope, that belief that it creates makes it real. Make God real in 2025 in your life. Ciao. If you have been watching without subscribing, please do subscribe. This is Jazini, and the channel is Bridges. Here we talk about relationships. We are passionate about making people realize their full potentials. Relationships, because it affects everything you do in life. Please let me know your thoughts on all my rants today. Everything I've talked about, I will read your comments, and please do subscribe. We need to grow this year. Thank you for your contribution. I do appreciate if you have watched up to this time. Ciao.